Good morning. This morning's children's message is entitled Whoever Welcomes, and it comes from Matthew's Gospel, chapter 10, and is verses 40 to 42. This particular lesson comes from Jesus' teaching to the disciples. Anyone who welcomes you welcomes me, and anyone who welcomes me welcomes the one who sent me. And here Jesus is talking about God. Whoever welcomes a prophet as a prophet will receive a prophet's reward, and whoever welcomes a righteous person as a righteous person will receive a righteous person's reward. And if anyone gives even a cup of cold water to one of those who is my disciple, truly I tell you, that person will certainly not lose their reward. So, what does it mean to follow Jesus? Christians believe that following Jesus and his ways of doing and being are the very best way they can live, finding joy, love, and closeness to God every day. Jesus wants us to know that we can endure bad times too, because of our faith and because he is always with us. A typical bad time might have been the last 12-16 weeks of COVID-19. We've endured that. Many people go through very hard times because of their beliefs in God. More Christians were killed for their beliefs in the 20th century than at any other time in history. All those Christians who died, rather than give up their relationships with God, believed it was worth it, no matter what physical and emotional pain they had to suffer. This is a good day to remember all those Christians who suffered and died for what they believed in, and to give thanks for the examples they set us in their faithful lives to God. They walked ahead of us in faith, giving up everything for their belief in God, so that we wouldn't have to do that. A cup of cold water is a wonderful gift, especially on a hot day. The early Christian community took the words of Jesus to heart, becoming known for their kindness towards one another and to the larger world. Sometimes we expect to earn a reward by doing a kind action, and we forget that the biggest reward may lie in having the opportunity to be a kind person. In other words, the reward sometimes comes before the act instead of afterwards. In this passage, Jesus encourages us to recognize him in each other's hearts and to recognize God the Father in him. Certainly in Jesus' time, there was no refrigeration or any way to make ice. It didn't freeze hard enough in the winter in Palestine to make ice outdoors or even indoors. The only way to get cold water was to make a special trip to a well, where the water would be chilled from being deep in the ground. And here I've shown a well constructed in the desert. from which you could presumably draw cold. And here we have a glass of cold water, probably come from a fridge though, and whoever gives one of these little ones, that's the disciples, even a cup of cold water, because he is a disciple, truly I say to you, he will by no means lose his reward. And you can see on the picture on the top there, a young lad giving an older gentleman, a glass of cold water. And below, disciples, that's you and me, by no means losing our reward. If you'd like to pray after me, we ask that you make us more like you every day. That we welcome the stranger into our lives as you did. And remember that you died for our sins on the cross. And care for each other as you care for us.